Ever wondered why some food companies get the green light from global retailers, while others, claiming the same level of food safety, are left on the shelf? It boils down to a crucial choice: ISO 22000 versus FSSC 22000.
These are both food safety standards, but they're not created equal. Today, we're cracking the code on these certifications, minus the confusing jargon.
Think of ISO 22000 as the foundation. It's a food safety management system, a rule book, if you will, covering essential aspects like leadership, communication, risk assessment using HACCP principles, and documentation.
But it stops short of dictating specific hygiene practices. FSSC 22000, on the other hand, builds upon ISO 22000, adding a layer of detailed control that global retailers often demand.
By the end of this discussion, you'll understand what ISO 22000 truly covers, what extra assurances FSSC 22000 brings to the table, and ultimately, which one your company might actually need. So, ISO 22000. Think of it as the foundational food safety management system. It's like a company's food safety rulebook.
Right. It's got key things like leadership taking charge, making sure everyone in the food chain is talking, and thinking about risks. Plus, it uses HACCP.
Exactly. And it's all about keeping records and having control. Now, picture a biscuit factory.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
With ISO 22000, that factory has management making food safety plans, spotting risks, doing a HACCP study, and keeping all the records in order.
So it's making sure the system is there. But what about the nitty-gritty, like how clean the place is?
That's the thing. ISO 22000 makes sure the system exists, but it doesn't necessarily dive deep into the how of hygiene and cleanliness. It's more about setting the stage than dictating every detail of the performance. So, FSSC 22000 builds on ISO 22000. Think of it as ISO 22000 plus a whole lot more. It's got three key pieces.
First, you've got your ISO 22000, that management system we talked about. It's the foundation.
Then you add PRPs, or prerequisite programs. These are your hygiene must-haves: cleaning programs, pest control,
Equipment maintenance, making sure that machinery isn't contaminating your food. Staff hygiene practices, zoning the factory to prevent cross-contamination. Think of it as really detailed SOPs, or standard operating procedures.
Exactly. And lastly, FSSC 22000 throws in some extra rules. We're talking food fraud prevention because nobody wants fake ingredients.
And food defense, protecting against intentional contamination. Allergen management is crucial. And finally, supplier approval, ensuring they're safe too. So, FSSC is really ISO plus factory discipline plus global risk controls.
So let's break down those key differences. ISO 22000 covers the management system and HACCP, absolutely. But when we look at hygiene programs, it's limited. FSSC 22000, on the other hand, has detailed PRPs, or prerequisite programs.
Exactly. And think about food fraud and food defense. ISO 22000 isn't really specific about those, but FSSC 22000, they're mandatory requirements. Big difference for risk management.
And here's a crucial one: GFSI recognition. ISO 22000 doesn't have it, but FSSC 22000 does. That GFSI stamp is what opens doors with those global retailers.
Makes sense. It's like saying, hey, we've been vetted by a trusted authority. So to bring it home, remember our analogy?
Right. ISO 22000 is like having a driving license. You can legally operate. But FSSC 22000?
That's the driving license plus car insurance and a vehicle inspection. Both let you drive, but FSSC 22000 gives you that extra layer of protection and peace of mind that retailers are looking for. Less risk equals more business.
Let's picture two dairy plants making the same milk powder for export.
Okay, plant A.
Plant A proudly boasts ISO 22000. They've got their food safety policies down, HACCP plans meticulously documented. Seems legit, right?
Sounds like they're covering the basics. So what about plant B?
Plant B also has everything Plant A has, plus FSSC 22000. This means on top of the management system, they've got validated cleaning procedures to ensure no milk residue lingers.
Sneaky allergens beware.
Exactly. Plus, robust allergen controls, regular checks to prevent food fraud, and thorough evaluations of their suppliers' risks. Basically, they're digging deeper to prevent problems.
So which plant do the big retailers trust with their brand?
Plant B, every time. They see the extra layers of security, the proactive approach to risk, and that translates to a safer product and less risk of a recall that can destroy their brand's reputation. So, which standard should a company actually choose? It really boils down to where you're selling your food.
Exactly. If you're mainly supplying the local market, ISO 22000 might be sufficient. It shows you're thinking about food safety.
But if you're exporting your products, especially to multiple countries, FSSC 22000 becomes the preferred choice. Global retailers want that extra assurance.
Think of it like this. Retailers are managing risk across their entire supply chain. FSSC 22000 gives them more confidence because of those added layers of control, like validated cleaning and supplier risk assessments.
And if you're aiming to supply big, recognizable brands, FSSC 22000 is practically a requirement. They often won't even consider suppliers without it.
Because FSSC 22000 is GFSI recognized, it carries a lot of weight internationally. It's like a global stamp of approval for your food safety system, making you a trustworthy partner in the food industry.
So, what's this GFSI recognition all about?
GFSI, or the Global Food Safety Initiative, doesn't actually set standards themselves. Instead, they benchmark existing food safety schemes. Think of it as a global stamp of approval.
Okay, so FSSC 22000 gets the GFSI stamp. What does that really mean for a food company?
It means the scheme meets a high standard of food safety management, universally recognized. Retailers trust it. It's like saying, this company isn't just saying they're safe. They've been vetted against a rigorous global benchmark.
So, are there other schemes besides FSSC 22000 that GFSI recognizes?
Absolutely. You've got BRCGS, SQF, Global GAP for produce, and IFS.
So they're all aiming for the same level of food safety, just with slightly different approaches?
Exactly. GFSI ensures that all these schemes benchmark to the same food safety requirements. This benchmark includes things like HACCP principles, prerequisite programs, and continuous improvement. It's about ensuring a consistent level of food safety across the globe.
Now, let's bust some myths. It's a common misconception that ISO 22000 is somehow inadequate.
Exactly. ISO 22000 isn't a lesser standard, it's a foundational one. For a company mainly serving a local market with fewer complex supply chain risks, it can be perfectly sufficient.
Think of it like this. A small local bakery selling directly to customers might find ISO 22000 provides the right level of structure without needing the extensive requirements of FSSC 22000.
On the flip side, another misconception is that FSSC 22000 is only for huge corporations. Not true. FSSC 22000 is scalable.
Yes, smaller companies can definitely implement FSSC 22000. It might require more initial effort, but the robust framework can provide a competitive edge, especially if they plan to expand.
Ultimately, it's about risk assessment. What are your potential risks? Where do you sell? And what level of assurance do your customers or potential customers require? Base your decision on that.
Okay, let's talk costs. ISO 22000 is generally cheaper initially. Think of it as the basic package. Lower certification fees, less intense training needed.
But FSSC 22000, while a bigger upfront investment, can save money long term. It's like preventative medicine.
Exactly. FSSC 22000 has pricier certification audits and more in-depth staff training, especially in areas like food fraud mitigation.
Let's not forget ongoing maintenance. Both standards require internal audits and documentation updates. FSSC 22000's detailed PRPs might mean more frequent equipment checks or pest control audits.
But the ROI for FSSC 22000 can be significant. Increased market access is a big one. Plus, fewer recalls means less financial loss and brand damage.
Think of it this way. Cost of FSSC 22000 implementation equals certification cost plus training cost
plus maintenance cost. Return equals increased sales plus reduced recall risk plus brand reputation. If the return outweighs the cost, FSSC 22000 is a smart investment.
All right, so to wrap things up, remember this. ISO 22000 sets up the system. It's your foundation.
Exactly. But FSSC 22000, it doesn't just build the system. It adds the strong controls, those preventative measures against all those modern food safety risks. Think of it as a higher level of assurance.
And that's key for global players. It isn't just about having a plan, it's about proving you can execute it consistently and safely.
Which is why FSSC 22000 gets that stamp of approval, GFSI recognition. It's globally recognized as a robust food safety scheme.
So, whether you need ISO 22000 or FSSC 22000 really boils down to your market and your customers. One's management, the other's management plus prevention.
And if you found these simple explanations helpful and want to dive deeper into more food safety standards, remember to subscribe. We're always learning, so let's keep exploring this world together.